Hey, peace and harmony coming at you here today. How to stop absorbing the narcissist energy, or how to stop absorbing anybody's negative energy. I think it really applies to all people, but particularly the narcissist. Someone who's extremely self-centered, someone who has an ultimately negative impact on you. Basically think of them like an energy vampire. They basically look at you as a source of supply to keep them running, to keep them fueled up, to keep them juiced. It really gets them off, or it really gets them amped up when they're able to overpower you, control you, manipulate you, take advantage of you, or just basically run over you in an emotional manner. And sometimes it's even a physical manner. What are some of the behaviors that people will do that cause you a negative impact? Giving you dirty looks, rolling their eyes at you, making obscene comments, making sexually exploitative comments. Those are all sorts of behaviors that are putting you in an inferior status or an inferior position to them. And anytime we allow ourselves to be treated in that manner, we're essentially absorbing a lot of negative energy. And the issue is that if it's not conscious, it's registering on an unconscious level. So, and this becomes even exacerbated, even becomes to a greater amount if you're an empath or someone who has a lot of empathy or feeling for other people, where you're a helping, service-oriented sort of person, and basically you're coming at them in a supportive manner. You have other people's best interests at heart. You tend to be more open or receptive to to absorbing other people's negative energy. And you're going to need to close those gaps and close those kind of holes where they're able to permeate you in your being. If we feel like we're absorbing a lot of negative energy, you can also feel it coming off of people. You can sometimes feel heat coming off of them. You can feel the negative energy, which is their anger, their hatred, their resentment, their guilt. You can feel this almost coming off of their body, and it has a certain vibration, it has a certain negative tone to it, where if you're around it repeatedly, it's like you're being emotionally assaulted with their concoction of negative personality and negative auras, where it then starts to break you down and you start feeling depressed, you don't know why. You start feeling low energy, you don't know why. It's because you're absorbing their negative vibration. Things like gossip, things like constantly complaining. Those are huge energy zappers and huge emotional, I would say call it red flags of emotional vampires. These people just, they get off on the drama, they get off on the chaos, and they're weaving basically a negative trap for you. And you have to get out of their enmeshment, you have to get out of that trap and basically get out of their vicinity. And especially, people who have been a victim or a target of a narcissist, people who are extremely self-centered and in a pathological manner are using and taking advantage of others. You absolutely positively have to learn some tools on how to stop absorbing their negative energy. So let's talk about a couple things here. Physically, you can feel the negative energy coming off of them. As I mentioned, anger, hate, resentment, their fears of abandonment, guilt, all these, you can feel coming off of people. And when we talk about to stop absorbing it, you have to physically get away from them. That's one of the first things you can absolutely positively do. If you live with a narcissist or if you live with a toxic person, you need to basically stay out of their physical proximity as much as possible. Don't feel bad. I mean, you need to get out of their energy space. Physically moving across the room, turning your back to them. Because you know what? Chances are that they've done this to you also. Where, you know, if you notice that they're constantly showing you their back end. I mean, these are traits that the narcissist will do. They'll basically try to, you know, and toxic negative people as well. So not only a narcissist, but they will, you know, they'll tend to like physically turn their back on you, where, you know, you're giving them attention and you're constantly looking at them, but you're not getting eye-to-eye contact like you deserve. You're not getting a smile like the way that you deserve. You're not getting the pat on the back like you deserve. You're not getting that sort of two-way emotional feedback from them. This starts to wear on one emotionally, as well as in our spiritual core, in our center, unconsciously, because we know something is not right about the way that we're being treated. It's a very depressing situation to be in, so you need to start getting away from those types of people, and just in terms of what we call no contact, but physically learn to exercise your will. Get away from these people on a physical manner, and the sooner you can identify it, the better. The sooner you can pick up, you know what, I'm being targeted here. The sooner you can pick up, you know what, this is one of those toxic people. You know, chances are you've already let it go too far. You need to you need to just basically physically stand up for yourself and physically move. Next, you need to start giving yourself some sort of boundaries in terms of your senses. The sense of sight, the sense of hearing, the sense of touch, the sense of taste, your emotional intuitive sense, your sixth sense. You need to protect all your senses, your six senses, from being around them. And if you're, you know, we tend to absorb a lot through our skin as well. So being around these people, you might feel kind of a stickiness about the way that they feel. There's just something is stuck about them. You know, they're not flowing. They don't have a positive aura about them, or the tone that they are in. It doesn't sound very positive. And this will start to, you know, be absorbed by you and through all of your senses, including your sixth sense, which is your intuition or your spirit. And that can start to really clog up your emotional body. It can clog up your vision. In other words, where you constantly are seeing them in your mind, they're constantly in front of you. In a visual sense, this is not positive to keep looking at them. So that's why when I talk about going no contact with a narcissist, it's absolutely positive, vital for you to stop looking at their picture, because what it is, you're continuing to jog your mind and your memory, and all the images in your mind are starting to be filled with that crud, which literally is like a gunk in your system. So that's why you absolutely positively need to stop looking at them. You can't continue to look at pictures of them and, oh, I miss them, oh, the heartbreak, oh, it used to be so good for me. No, you know what? It was never good for you. It is not good for you to this day, and it's not good for your future. You need to stop looking at them. Second, you need to start protecting your sense of hearing. Stop absorbing the music that you used to listen to together, some of the places you used to go to together, listening to their voicemails, listening to videos with them, going around the same places where you used to have a lot of conversation. You need to start finding new places for you to go and visit and reroute yourself, rather than going to these same old places, because what it is, you are reigniting that same sensory memory, and it's continuing to become fired in your system. And I know that this is somewhat scientific, but it has a very physical basis, and it's going to affect your emotions, as well as, you know, your happiness, your joy, your bliss, these feelings of happiness that you're around. So I want you to consider Finding some new places, even if it's peace and quiet. I know it might be difficult or painful to go into some of these new places, or maybe they're just not accessible for you, but at least abstaining from these is very important. Also, you want to stop absorbing them physically, in terms of touch. So if there's any sort of things that you used to have together, a couch, furniture, a home, a living space, other sorts of knickknacks, that you used to have together, you need to start getting these out of your space. The narcissist, as you might realize, a lot of the things that they gave you were not truly in your best interest. It more was trying to keep them centered in your mind. So you might even have a pet. Even some of the different things that they used to give you, little gifts and things. You have continued to maintain them in your living space or in your life because you feel like it's something valuable to you. But when you really think about it, is it really that positive, or is that gift that they gave you, is it still a way for them to keep you attached to them? Oftentimes the narcissist will give you gifts so you can become and stay attached to them. Pieces of jewelry, pieces of clothing, different vacations, different things like that they're really just is not in your best interest. So you need to let those go and maybe just donate them to your local Goodwill, Salvation Army, or a thrift store. Just start decluttering yourself of a lot of the physical pieces as well, and you'll stop absorbing their energy. And lastly, and I'm going to continue to discuss this in future videos because I think it's very important and very imperative to your healing, is start protecting yourself with emotional boundaries. Start getting into a mindset that you deserve better. You absolutely positively deserve better treatment, and you refuse to dull your light. You refuse to sink yourself to the levels that they want to see you in. You refuse to be oppressed. You refuse to be depressed by them, because ultimately the narcissist wants you as a supply, which is an objective sort of treatment, and the way that they treat you has broken you down. So you need to get into a mindset where you have a raised standard for yourself, and you simply have to refuse to be treated that way. You have to absolutely raise your standards and absolutely require that you're treated in a better manner. And once you begin to change that emotional standard, you'll see that better people will begin to enter your life. Love you. Peace and harmony with you here today. Please subscribe for more great videos and tools and discussions towards your path towards healing, recovery, and living a better life, being the best you can be in peace and harmony.